Don't tell me you went home already.
Good evening, Miss Rosemary. No, I haven't gone home just yet.
Obtuse and stupid as always, I see. By the way, I left some of your documents I need finished by tomorrow somewhere near your desk. I trust you went through those?
What? Near my desk? Could you be more specific, please?
I'm pretty certain I left them right next to it. What? Don't tell me you didn't go through them. You see, this is what I mean when I talked about time. You gotta manage, damn it. This is such an inconvenience. You're so useless, Veronica. Do your work properly.
I'm sorry, but I don't know which documents you're talking about. Could you tell me which ones you mean?
Did you look around your desk, yes or no? And the trash can?
Oh, jeez, it was in the trash can.
Just as I thought, throwing away such important documents without so much as a bat on an eyelash. Unbelievable.
But I didn't throw it out. I would never throw out any documents without anyone's permission.
What are you trying to say?
Miss Rosemary, did you really leave these documents near my desk? I'm certain that a quick glance at them would have been enough to realize what they were. But they weren't on my desk or near it anywhere. They were instead in the trash can. Do you know anything?
Don't tell me you're suspicious of me. This is so ridiculous. You suspect your own superior at work of foul play? Do you realize how rude you are right now?
If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm sorry.
You know, I would never do such a thing. You put them in the trash can yourself and then tried to make it so that someone else did it. You're rotten down to the core, Veronica.
Down to my core, rotten?
You have an unattractive face on top of a despicable personality. It's really hard to be your superior, honestly.
I'm sorry, but you need not have gone into that territory, Miss Rosemary.
What have we here? Talking back to your superior, are we?
That's not what I'm doing here, Miss Rosemary, but I'm still a newcomer in the office. I'm so grateful for you showing me around the workplace and teaching me how to do my job properly. But if someone remarks something negative about how I look, how do I say this? There's not much I can do to change that, and it only hurts my feelings, so I'd appreciate it if you stopped.
You know I'm only speaking the truth. The mere fact that an ugly swine shows up to work in the secretary division makes everyone's morale drop to an all-time low. We don't need ugly swine around here. Don't come to work again.
You need not say such things, Miss Rosemary. I'm only trying to do my best for the company, as you know.
Trying to do your best? You've got some guts saying that, when you haven't even gone through the documents that need to be finished by tomorrow.
These weren't even on my desk, as we discovered. Perhaps a little heads up during the day wouldn't hurt. And this sort of mishap can be avoided in the future, I believe.
That tongue of yours is still live. Sounds like you're putting the blame on me.
I haven't typed a word with that intention.
And I also know this. The vice director of the company has taken a liking to you.
What?
Taking a liking to you. When you're nothing but a hideous hag. How did you do it? Use your body, I suppose.
I must ask you to stop saying these things, Miss Rosemary. Perhaps the reason why you're being so mean to me is because of what's going on with the vice director?
I'm not even being mean to you, Veronica. No wonder you're so stupid. You can't even understand a person right. But someone saw you walking alongside the vice director a couple days back, and then I got depressed.
Why is that?
The vice director is a handsome young man who can do his job properly. He's like a rock star to us all. He's not the kind of person to keep all to yourself. And then there's you, plain dull woman. I really can't understand why he's taken a liking to you. In any case, I know you're never letting him out of your sight. Like some disgusting stalker. Could you stop doing such things? You're ruining the division's reputation with stupidity like that.
I don't have any intention of doing such actions.
Perhaps not, but never forget that you're being a nuisance to us all. Not just the vice director himself, but everyone working in the secretary division. You've no idea how much of an obstacle it is to have to work with someone we know is giving everyone a hard time. How about you start accounting for how everyone else feels about this,
I didn't realize everyone regarded the vice director that way, so I'm sorry to have caused the trouble. So in other words, you don't approve of me being seen with the vice director, am I right, Miss Rosemary?
Not just me, damn it. Everyone doesn't approve, Veronica. He himself must be feeling really bothered by this. And also, why in the world were you with him in the first place? You went up to meet with him after work. What the hell were you doing with him?
We went out to dinner, actually. We do that sometimes since we do live together, too.
Are you pulling my leg? Or has that loose screw of yours finally popped out of its little crevice?
No, it's the cold truth, I'm afraid. We do live together, so in the event we get off work around the same time, we go someplace to eat before going back home.
What are you trying to tell me? There's no friggin' way the vice director would yield to a stupid, simple woman like you. So you really are a stalker, eh? You sneak into his house every night and you sleep in the same house as him, eh?
Do my looks really give off that kind of vibe? However, I do agree with you. Compared to the vice director, I may look pretty simple. My brother's been under the spotlight since time immemorial, after all.
Huh? Brother? What?
The vice director is my older brother, Miss Rosemary. Our parents divorced when we were very young, so we have different surnames. But we were of the same family name, once upon a time. After I came back from studying abroad, I've been renting a room of his, and that's why we're living together. My father seems to rest easier like that, apparently.
Oh, hold on a second. You're the little sister of the vice director, Veronica.
Yes, I am. We don't look alike at all, do we?
And in other words, you're the director's daughter?
Well, I suppose you could say that, yes. My biological father and I haven't really lived together very much, so I don't really think of him as my true father yet. But it was because of him and my brother that I was able to start working as soon as I came back from abroad. I can't forget my gratitude, can I?
Why did you keep quiet about that?
I didn't think I could show everyone that I'm truly capable of, and I thought people would look at me differently if I joined the company because the director himself pulled some strings. But I'd forgotten that my brother's quite the rock star, especially among the ladies, as you say. But don't worry, we aren't anything like you claim us to be.
Oh, I'm not worried at all, miss. About tomorrow's documents, I can check them over first thing tomorrow morning. You need not stay late tonight to do any extra work, miss. Go home for the day, please. I'm sure the vice director is starting to get a little worried about you.
I'm on my way home right now, actually, Miss Rosemary. The vice director was so kind as to help me go over the documents with me. And you need not do it tomorrow morning.
What? The vice director did? Don't tell me. You didn't blab anything about me to him, did you? You didn't tell him that I made you do them, right?
I didn't. I merely told him that they somehow wound up in the trash can and that they weren't finished yet.
Oh, thank God. And it's not like I put them there, you know. There wasn't much space to put them, so they may have fallen into the trash can on their own. I'm sorry, Miss Veronica.
I didn't think that you'd offer me an apology, Miss Rosemary. That was the last thing I expected.
But of course I would. It was never anyone's mistake, and you left for home pretty late tonight. And that's made me feel sorry for you and for the vice director.
Is that so? Who would have thought that your attitude would change this much? What a surprise.
But I haven't changed attitudes at all, Miss Veronica. Could I ask a small favor of you? If you're all right with it, I'd like you to recommend me to your brother. Romantically, of course.
Excuse me? Why would I do that?
This is something I shouldn't really say to the younger sister of the man in question here, but I've been a fangirl of his ever since I joined the Enterprise. So I'd love for you to let him know about me so that we could maybe go out to dinner together.
Dinner with my brother, you mean?
Indeed, and if it's not too much to ask, I don't mind going over to your place for some time together. You're invited, of course. You could be my future little sister, after all. And I've always had this feeling that the vice director is only ever kind to me in particular. And I don't think it's wishful thinking, so if I just had to chance, things for us could go pretty well. And thus I must call for you to help me out. Perhaps you could be the matchmaker for the two of us and arrange something.
My brother is with me right now, and he just said that it really is wishful thinking, Miss Rosemary.
What? Wait, hold on. What do you mean? Your brother is the vice director, right?
Yes, he is. He's been reading our conversation in DMs for a while now.
What? Didn't you say you never told him anything, Miss Veronica?
I didn't tell him, Miss Rosemary, but I was crying as I was staring at my screen, so he went and saw what was happening without even asking.
What? You can't mean that he's seeing all of this too, right?
Yes, he is.
Mr. Director, this isn't what you think. It's a misunderstanding.
What's a misunderstanding, Miss Rosemary? You don't mean the fact that you just call me stuff like ugly swine and hideous bag, and that you brutally harass me at work every day, forcing me to do more work?
Oh, Veronica dear, don't go about saying such silly things. You'll only make things worse, you know, and it's not like I wanted to do those things.
You're the only one who went to such extremes, though, you see.
It's not what you think. All I ever wanted was to educate you to become a good secretary. I never meant for those things to be personal insults. And I sure as hell never intended to harass you, not in the slightest.
I've taken the liberty of witnessing everything that has transpired tonight between you and my sister, Miss Rosemary.
Pardon me? Is that you, Mr. Vice Director?
The fact that my sister is still a newcomer here is no excuse for what I now know you did to her. Insulting her regarding her looks, forcing more work upon her, and making her stay working until late at night. Until now, she hasn't breathed a word, but I finally know who had the audacity to do these things.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Vice Director. I never knew she was your sister.
Who cares if it was my sister or not? You are a despicable human being, Miss Rosemary Floyd. Throwing important documents away voluntarily is another crime to your pile. This will be taken to Human Resources promptly.
Mr. Vice Director, please, wait a moment. I really am terribly sorry. I had no malice aforethought. I assure you.
It's over for you, Rosemary. Your charm as a woman and as a human being is zilch. Never interact with me or with my sister ever again!
The vice director of the company loves his sister, Veronica, very dearly, and never allows any harm to come to her, and strictly punishes those who did. And Miss Rosemary was no exception. He never had any of her excuses, never forgave her, and promptly arranged for her to be moved to a subsidiary company in building maintenance. Rosemary's salary dwindled to something much smaller, and she was thrown into a working society dominated by men. Away from the brilliant office life of the secretary in training, and because of mounting pressure from the vice director, Rosemary's father eventually quit his job at his own company. An angry brother can be as strong as a lion, it seems.
You haven't texted me yet. What's going on with you?
What do you mean? Is something the matter?
Come on now, Mr. Frederick. You call yourself a man with this kind of behavior?
Excuse me?
It's only like the most important rule in the book that when a man asks a woman for her contact information, he texts her or something himself later on that very day. You're aware that it's polite custom, right? I've been waiting since yesterday for your message, you know.
Oh, is that so? I apologize for that. I just fell asleep upon coming home yesterday. I had a pretty hard day, you see.
Is that the best excuse you can come up with? I must say it's mediocre, Mr. Frederick. You really believe you can be a good man to take the lead in this? I beg to differ.
I'm sorry.
What were you doing this whole time? It's been more than 12 hours since we parted ways last night.
As I said, I fell asleep after coming home, and then I woke up this morning to go to work.
I see. Anything else you gotta say?
Excuse me? Anything else, Miss Megan?
Yes, indeed, Mr. Frederick. There is something you want to say to me, isn't there?
I'm afraid I can't think of anything. Forgive me for messaging you so late.
That's not what I mean. Honestly, how can you call yourself a member of society with this much of a lack of common sense? I suppose you're only an ordinary officeman working for some subcontractor company. It's the only explanation. After things go well at a group date, we usually say thank you for a great time today, or how about a cup of coffee on Saturday? Can't you see how you have to say these things afterwards? How can you call yourself a man?
I'm a man, Miss Megan, but I must admit these things have indeed slipped my mind. I'm very sorry.
At least you understand now. So what now, Mr. Frederick?
Excuse me? What do you expect, Miss Megan?
Oh my gosh, you don't understand a thing. How do you want to proceed with what we have? What do you hope to achieve with me? I'm afraid I don't understand.
Just hurry up and invite me to dinner already. Ask me something smart like, when will be a good idea for you?
Dinner, you say? It would be fun if we went out again with the yesterday's group, I must say.
I'll inform the secretary from yesterday about this.
Mr. Frederick?
Yes.
How dare you call yourself a man, you stupid coward!
I don't understand what you mean.
With this kind of atmosphere, it's more than obvious that it should result in the two of us going out together. Making me explain every single step of how this should go, you're not a gentleman, not in the slightest. At this rate, I don't believe we have anything to show for it.
But it's also fun for all of us if we all went out again. I'm sure the people from last night will want to go out again sometime soon. I think that's a nice idea. Wouldn't you agree?
Have you even been listening to what I was just saying? Don't tell me you've gone off your rocker or something.
I'm sorry, I'm not exactly sure about this, but do you mean to tell me you want to go out to dinner with me? Just the two of us?
Unbelievable! Who just asked something so forthright like that to a woman? You really can't be called a man, Mr. Frederick. I'm now sure that someone like you has a pretty small salary, and isn't even on a path towards promotions and stuff. A perpetually ordinary, unimpressive officeman. And that's why you won't ever get married, live through life in a daze, and die alone and unloved.
Please don't envision my future like that. You make it sound like something straight out of a suicide survivor's life.
And yet it's true in real life, isn't it? If you don't want that to happen to you, may I suggest that you learn a bit about how to take the lead in establishing a relationship with a woman? At this point, I can still listen anyway.
Listen, by what you mean what exactly?
Clueless can you get, damn it? I mean, you can still try to ask me out. Sounding smart, mind. If you can't do that, I'm just gonna block you, all right?
Block?
Yes, block. I'm not gonna talk with you anymore. You're okay with that? That means you're gonna miss your chance with a beautiful older woman that'll take good care of you. Are you seriously okay with that?
And who is this woman?
Me, damn it! Who else would it be? I may not look it, but I'm actually a little older than you, Mr. Frederick. That's why I'm telling you all of these things, out of a sisterly sense of pity, I suppose. I hope you appreciate that. Not everyone wants to show the way of courting someone like you, a mere low-salary officeman.
No, thank you.
Uh-huh? What do you mean?
You don't have to show me the ways of courting, I assure you.
The hell are you saying? If you mean to tell me that you can't even realize how pathetic you are in this, I give up, and I'm blocking you.
Please, by all means.
The heck? What the hell do you mean? You're okay with me blocking you?
Yes, indeed. Even if you block me, it's not like it's gonna bother me. And also, Miss Megan, you've been saying some pretty nasty stuff for a while now, and I don't remember ever asking you out to dinner, nor do I remember things going well between us. I wonder why it's become this kind of atmosphere where it's obvious we have to go out together, the two of us. It's really puzzling to me, see?
What are you talking about? I know you were after me yesterday. You were staring at me with that lock of lust in your eyes I know all too well. I know, Mr. Frederick. I know exactly what you want.
Huh? That look of lust in my eyes, as nasty as it sounds, was always my natural expression. Instead, I never considered you as hot, so I can confidently say I never looked at you with a lack of lust.
Do you realize how rude you are right now?
Well, I've been the victim of some insulting myself, so I thought something small like this would still be okay. Was I over the line?
You were way over the line. You were staring at me yesterday and we were touching when we were sitting beside each other.
You were sitting right in front of me. So you were naturally in my line of sight. I was never going after you, Miss Megan. Not by a smidge. So you don't need to worry.
You better watch yourself with all those lies.
All that nonsense about us touching, I think your accusations have also gone pretty far. When we did change seats last night and you wound up beside me, who was it that tried to lock her arm of mine and that tried to grab my leg? Oh yes, that's right, it was you, Miss Megan.
I can't believe this. I can't believe that I'm talking to the most infuriating, rudest person to ever walk this earth. Do you have a fleeting understanding of what you're saying to me?
I could say the same to you, Miss Megan. You do realize I could have sued you for sexual harassment, right?
Sexual harassment, my ass. I could have sued you for the same thing.
I believe everyone that was there yesterday would vouch for me in court, though.
This is too much. I'm freaking blocking you.
Go ahead. You've been telling me you would for a while now.
You're really okay with this. I don't care if you regret this later.
Don't worry, I won't.
I never imagined you would be this much of a rude scumbag, Frederick. Such a waste of my time.
Yeah, you and me both, sister. I only have 5 minutes left for my lunch break. Want to know the funny thing? I still haven't eaten my lunch yet. And also, I think this is the first time someone's insulted me this much. And believe me, I've been a victim of such criticism all my life.
Your life will be one of poverty and misery without any happiness whatsoever. It suits you well, damn it.
Thankfully, I do have some money stashed away, so I don't think your prediction will come true anytime soon.
What?
I actually run a company, you see. It isn't much of a big enterprise at the moment, but I founded it a few years ago. And it's finally become large enough to employ a couple hundred people. Business has been going well lately, and an old friend of mine invited me to this group date, so I thought it would be a nice change of pace. Little did I know I would learn a valuable lesson as a result. I learned that people like you, stubborn, arrogant, and downright rude people, really do exist in the world.
You're running a company? You mean to tell me that you're a director?
Yes, I am. More specifically, I'm the CEO.
Why in the world would you leave such important detail out until later on, sir?
You were completely convinced that I was a poor office man.
But your outfit from yesterday.
Being a CEO demands so much from me, Miss Megan. And I simply don't have the time to be concerned about fashion. A simple jacket and jeans can't do you any wrong, can they? For work, I wear ready-made suits that my secretary arranges for me. So I really don't have to worry about nice clothes anyway. Well then, you can block me now.
And why would I do that, Mr. Frederick? I was actually interested in you since the beginning. That's why I mustered up the courage to contact you myself, you see. And I do believe you hold me in high regard, too. Let's start this slowly with a nice dinner, the two of us.
Huh? No way, no way, that's not gonna happen. It was never gonna happen, Megan.
But why? I've taken the submissive route now, you see.
When a person you meet yesterday insults and chastises someone as much as you have done to me, no matter how much you try to fix things, it's never gonna work. I've always had an eye to see people for who they are professionally, and I already had an idea about you yesterday. But I never thought it would be to this extent.
But I've had my eyes on you from the beginning, you know. Why did you ask me for my contact information then? Anyone would think that there's a chance with us then, at that point.
You pushed that information right under my nose, Megan. Even when I didn't exactly want it. And also, you've been saying some nasty things to every single person that was there yesterday, haven't you?
How do you know about that?
There were multiple screenshots of what you said to them in the group chat.
A group chat?
I created one along with the people from yesterday, you see? Oh yes, with everyone but you, of course. After you left for home yesterday, we all went to karaoke.
hell? I never knew about this.
Even the other girls seem to be struggling with your shenanigans. You forced a colleague of yours to invite you to a group date, completely disregarding the fact that you're at least 10 years older than all the other girls. Respect to you for being positive during the group date, but there's no doubt now the group's apparently gonna hang out often without ever inviting you. I did invite you too, and you declined strongly, I might add. Well then, you don't seem to be wanting to block me, so I might as well do it. Goodbye. Megan tried her best to patch things up with Frederick by contacting him multiple times, but she'd already been blocked. She then attempted to get her girlfriends to reach out to him, but that level of obsession was only met with scorn and contempt. By now, it seems that no one in her company is willing to talk with her anymore, and she had realized how she behaves towards people in general. And as for Frederick, he went on to begin a relationship with one of the girls from the group date, under their presumption they would get married in the end. Let's hope Megan doesn't find out about this and that they find happiness in their life together.